G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we will be looking at the final part for the Combiner Wars Constructicons. This is Combiner Wars Bonecrusher, and honestly, he, I would say, is the most well-proportioned of the lot, although he does have one minor issue. And of course, after this guy, then next week we will get down to the final combination where we put Devastator all together once more, and then he can go back on my shelf. So here he is. Here is a Bonecrusher. He does roll. He has fake wheels up the front, and you have this piece here. So he does roll. He is a green bulldozer thing. I don't know the specific term for this type of vehicle, but it's a bulldozer in my eyes. So there is that. You do have a little bit of articulation. You can raise his scoop, and if you use this joint down here, you can get a little bit more if you want to do that. So there we go. He does look good, and he's the one that actually hides pretty much the entire of the bot mode. So yeah, this, apart from seeing maybe this little bit here and this little bit here, which is really what's supposed to be, there is no actual evidence of the actual bot there at all. So let's get down to our first size comparison. Here he is with Windblade. He is a smidgen taller, and one of these days I'll actually get like a automatic tripod or something. So as you can see, he is taller. Now that I've done this, I'm going to have to raise it up again. I apologize for those who get motion sickness. She's obviously wider than he is, and she is a smidge, fair decent. She's longer than he is. So there is that. So there we go. So let's get this guy into robot mode, then we can take him back into vehicle mode, and then finally into majority combined mode. So first things first, you're going to come under here and you're going to untab here, and then this all is going to all sort of swing down. So that way that will swing up on the other side and rotate that down, and we can leave that there for the time being. Same on the other side, untab, flip down, rotate around and around. So it's somewhat like what Scavengers was. All right, next we're going to unplug this for the time being. We're going to flip all this out, so it's going to come down on these hinges like so. So we get all this separated. We want to flip down this for the time being, and then these are going to come out. They do tab in. This goes into here, and we can bring that around. We can flip this out, which gives us our arms, and they can just go down. I thought that's right, tabs into a bit in a second. All right, so we're going to flip up this piece just to get out of the way. Flip this up, if you can get your nail in there, and that gives us our head. It's going to accordion down this, so this goes flatter, and then this is going to come under here, and sort of these pieces are going to go into these gaps, like so. And then that just sort of sits back. It doesn't really tab in or anything. It just sort of sits back there. And then what we can do is we want to bring this down just enough, because we need to bring it back up. It sort of hinges on itself till you pretty much got it reasonably, is the term I use, where it's just the head sticking up just above the scoop. So there is that. And then you can do this what you want. Just easier having a flat. All right, now we come up to the issue. But first, before we get that, we're going to extend his hips. And we're going to flip his feet. So his legs, like I said, are very reminiscent of Scavengers. So it's still got the weird knee placement, like so. Now, the idea is, there is, I don't know if you can see it, there is a sort of tab here, there's a port here, and then you have a hook tab here that goes over here, and a hook tab that's going to hook in here. They are not very secure. So my best thing is just sort of straighten his legs up best you can, grab his put your fingers on the side of his thighs and press in. Now, I cannot promise that's going to stay locked. That is his biggest issue, is those hip joints, because the moment you start moving things, that's going to untab. So chances are when I do articulation, that's going to move. So there's that. But here he is in his vehicle, in his robot mode, I should say. And as I said, he does get off pretty well for the proportions. Honestly, he looks robotish apart from the fact that his knees are a little high. They should be down here. But it's neither here nor there. So he has full-length arms. Yes, he has a broad chest and a tiny waist. So he's basically a male version of a female bot. Take that for what you will. But all in all, it's pretty much well proportioned. Yes, you have this sitting behind his head, and yes, you have this hanging down. But considering the Predacons, especially with I'm going to ruin their names now. Tantrum and we say Headstrong. I can never remember the rhino's name. Tantrum and Ramhorn, is it? I think that might be one of Blaster's cassettes, but that's neither here nor there. They have some serious issues when it comes to their leg modes. But yeah, it is what it is. And like I said, it would be nice if that came down a little bit more, but pretty much the top of the scoop is actually pressing on the top of his chest. Also, I came to my conclusion that this is the piece that actually rubbed off onto Hook and left him that silver mark, which, as long as everything doesn't fall off, I'm just having a quick squeeze. Here it is. So there's the silver mark I mentioned before, and I'm pretty sure it's from the rubbing of his chest, which is funny because I don't see any silver missing anywhere. So take that for what you will. So there we go. So he does look pretty good. Like I said, the head sculpts for this set are amazing, and that's Bonecrusher all the way. Like I said, he does look all in all, but it's a head sculpt. The head sculpts for this set, including Devastator's head, is just amazing. It really is stunning. So it is what it is. So I'm, happy that that's how they went. And as you can see, my crutch is becoming a little misaligned. It's probably going to split in half in a minute. So let's get down to articulation. Head can do a full 360. Goes up a little bit. Doesn't really go down. Arms can do a full 360. They come out this far. They have ball jointed bicep, which means it can twist at the elbow. We have double jointed elbows. So that's something that none of the others have. We can't move the wrist or the fingers. It's one solid piece, and it's not coming apart from that. We don't have waist swivel. We do not have waist ab crunch. This is where it's going interesting. Can I do it? Ooh, just. Leg comes out that far. Comes up that far. I'm waiting for the. Is it? Oh, there it goes. I knew I was going to do it eventually. Flip this up a little bit, and that actually, I think, is it actually supposed to tab in? Yeah, there's a tab there, but it doesn't really tab in. Try to get that out of the way. Legs come that far back. Like I said, I knew the moment I start articulating those legs, it was going to untab. I probably don't even have that fully locked in. Knee goes back that far. We have ball jointed knees, so we do have thigh rotation. We also have a little bit up there. We have crazy ankle tilt, and toe and heel can move if you need it to. So there is that. And I will point out, I do have a tendency of popping this off too, so it is what it is. Only really when I get him into robot mode, but it is, yeah. So, size comparison. Here he is with MP10. Back a little bit. And as you can see, comes up to roughly primes the top of his ribs. So top here. So there is that. Alright, back to vehicle mode, and then then we get into combine mode. So first things first, we might as well get the legs back to where they were. So compress, close, close, press, yeah, close, close, there. And of course, they're going to just split apart anyway. I won't lie, I do like what the arms do. Honestly, I really do like what the arms do. So fold that down, providing you don't pop that off. Going to untab all this. Like I said, I'm pretty sure, where is it? This was supposed to go into here, but it doesn't really do it. Beg my pardon. Fold that down, fold that down, and they can just sort of sit back for the time being. We can flip these up, and we're going to go flip. Rotate the bicep. Nope, we're going to rotate the shoulder and then flip the bicep, like so. And then we can get all that out of the way, fold this back, and you have this tab and this tab, which go into this port and this port. So that tabs them together. You can then bring all this up, and these are going to slot into spots here if things line up properly and the head's actually where it's supposed to be, like so. Don't want to use this. This is for his arm more than the actual vehicle mode. So just make sure that stays flat. You're going to fold this in. There is a port here that's going to go into here just to tab that in place. And then what we're going to do is we're going to rotate that hip joint around. So there's the tab that would have held into place. You have this port here, you have this tab here, and this tab here. So that'll roll up and just line things up until they sit where they're supposed to sit. Do the same on the other side. Slide that around and tab that in there, and try and find the other tab, which I think I've completely missed. Get that up there, tab that in there, tab that in there. Just give it a bit of a push so that everything is where it's supposed to be. And then we want to flip this up so that lays flat, and we have that which lays that flat, and then we have Bonecrusher back in his vehicle mode again, and he can slide and all the rest of that. So, combine mode. Pretty much almost everything, like Scavenger, is where it should already be. Except there is a couple of steps. What we are going to do is, so this is your combiner tab where you're going to hook it in. Now pull these back out again, and you're going to flip this all the way down, and we're going to rotate it this way, I believe. So then eventually these will tab in elsewhere, which, yeah. I'll show when we get to long haul, back to long haul again. All right, so what we're then going to do is we're going to extend this out as far as it'll go. So it's going to sit, and you didn't see any of that. Sorry about that. So it was like that. We want to extend all that as far as it'll go up, because what's going to happen is that's going to then sit onto Hook's shoulder. So when we tab it in, it'll sit on top of there. That was a weird way around doing that. So like that. And then of course we have our articulation there and our outer arm movement, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah, he does sort of hinder himself, but it is what it is. Yeah, it works. It's just a matter of articulating things a little bit better. I think that's all we needed for it. Yeah, because that doesn't fold in or anything. I'm sort of jumping ahead of myself trying to remember how things sit a little bit. So there we go. So there is Bonecrusher in his combined mode. And I don't know how I'm going to do this. So we have long haul. We've done it for the rest. We might as well do it for Bonecrusher too. So we have long haul. We have Mixmaster. We have Scrapper. We have, and I still have no idea what to use to sort of, I'm going to use a cassette that I've got, see if that'll help at all, sort of balance it. So there's Hook sitting on my old CCR cassette. There is Scavenger, which we never did quite figure out how to situate that properly. And we have, I'm not even, that's not even going to fit in a shot. I'll just pull back a little bit and sort of pull them across. And there are all 6 in the shot, which will look 100 times better when they're actually combined. So there we go. And of course, you can arm him up with any of those weapons and tools that we had shown off in long haul, but they're really for the combined mode. So, but you can see how some of them works. You have ports here and whatnot. So there we go. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. Are you eager to see the Constructicons finally merge Devastator? But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.